Good evening from Sacred Space at Titania's Realm. It's, just clicked on to 7 p.m. on the 23rd of June 2024. And it's currently 14 degrees Celsius, which it's not too cold in here. I've been in bed during the afternoon from like 2 p.m. I sort of had to go and have a little lie down. It was actually so cold and chilled to the bone that I went and lay down and put my electric blanket on, and then I got up not that long ago and I cooked up some dinner in the air fryer, and I've eaten dinner, and I thought, okay, I feel a little bit more energized again. Zombie. But I've been living this way for, most of my life, so I'm okay. I I'm just sitting on the brink of rather astonishing and unexpected kind of change. I'm just perched on the diving board, and I'll speak to my psychiatrist on Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday I've got an appointment, and he'll have received the results from the lung function test, which they told me they've sent to him, and then I'll discuss with him what the next step is, because he won't have received the results from the sleep study that I had on Tuesday night, because they said it takes 10 to 12 days or something like that. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So I guess I'm just sitting on kind of teetering on the brink of beginning that treatment. Maybe it'll depend on whether it works or whether they recommend it, and kind of hanging a bit in the balance. I feel like the Hanged Man in a tarot card, like, can't swing this way, can't swing that way, so when in doubt, do nothing. However, I had a wonderful time dancing last night for my one of my favourite Brisbane bands, and long time now, friends have been dancing for their band for many years in the Brisbane music scene, so Alter Ego. So we had a great night at the Koala Tavern. Mama T did her performance art, and I did all my weird made up motions to all the songs, and I really got into it. I really cut loose, got into it, and it was wonderful. I had a wonderful time, and I'm grateful to my friends who encourage and motivate me to, keep going and keep dancing and keep living my best life. Not just my friends, but also, my psychiatrist and I guess my urologist too. So many people wishing me well and cheering me forward and wanting me to live fully and vibrantly and maybe healthfully for the first time in fucking eons. So that will be astonishing if I make it that long, if I can achieve that that level of success. So I haven't done anything with my new tree stump that I picked up yesterday, and I've still got to buy the parts for my spinning wheel, so I haven't done anything per se today, but I kind of needed to rest today. I think it was a bit too much for me lifting a 55 kilogram lump of wood out of my car and dragging it up on the trolley up the hill, which my beautiful friend gifted me the trolley, and she said, it was brand new. And she said, we've pumped up the tyres and, they're perfect and everything. I go to use it, one of the tyre was just going flat. So it was a bit fraught getting that fucking silky oak 55 kilogram tree trunk up the hill. But I did it because I'm a determined motherfucker when I put my mind to things. Certain things I won't put my mind to if I think they're not cricket. But when it comes to shoving shit uphill, as in furniture or tree stumps for my silversmithing journey, I can be very, very determined indeed. Anyway, I'm very excited about that I got it here, and got it out of the car and got it up the hill and got it safely in my laundry, and I might have a look at it tomorrow when I feel less exhausted and put my, what do you call it, stainless steel block on it, and might even, I don't have any stamps. I have a stamp that I tried to make that didn't work out. Oh, but I might have a play with scraps of metal and see if it makes a difference having a proper tree stump to stamp on, because that's what they recommended for stamping, you know, so it can take all the, it's to do with physics, it can take all the pressures and spread the load and whatever. We'll see if it works out tomorrow, and if not, if it doesn't work, oh well, I'll just have to keep practicing till I get good at it, people, you know, like breathing. Anyway, never mind. We carry on with today's readings of even date. I don't know why my head's sticking out like my hair's doing very strange things like lately. It's either frizzy or buffy or going to a side part, which I hate, or it's, yeah, flying away from my head, or it's just, I just feel half the time a bit like, see, did you see that? Look at that. Look, I've got so much electricity in my body right now. My hair's flying. Just get down there, behave yourself. It's because I probably need to get laid. I'm like a, you know, nylon carpet. That's just all that friction. I'm joking about that, by the way, the getting laid part. Joking. Got to behave myself. I've got to be good, Mama T. No, seriously, I do have to be good. But I'm laughing about it. Life's beautiful, and I'm enjoying the breath and the sweetness and the kindness shown to me, and love is the law, people of earth. So today's offerings, readings, here I go with the bloody throat again. Anyway, we'll carry on. Today's offerings are entitled La Vie en Rose or Living La Vida Loca. Can go either way at my place, babies. All is in a constant flux of becoming better, wiser, bounteous, beautiful, and blessed. Real. So it looks like this time, exactly on even date, whenever I did that title, I was feeling a little bit saucy and a little bit stimulated back then too. Let's just swing the chair. I'm going to swing the chair. Whee! Oops, that's not supposed to happen. Oh well, Miss Five had a need to swing the chair. Shall we do it again, just for kicks? Ready, kids? Do not try this at home, people. Ready? We're going to swing the chair. One more time. Whee! That's better. There was no limitations on the freewheeling spin, and there was no grinding of gears with my beautiful camphor laurel table, which I think I might have just fucking damaged. Oh. Well, anyway, let us continue. The continuing saga of the sleep apneic trauma survivor, choosing life and true love, even in the midst of an apocalyptic breakdown of Western civilization, and perhaps even her own little mini breakdown, which I'm on the tail end of because that happened on Wednesday. But, you know, you feel me, people, you feel me. I'm getting there. I'm really feeling, apart from the exhaustion from dancing too hard last night, which is my free will, my choice, I'm happy about, but apart from the exhaustion from the much needed exercise, I feel really good today. Like I just could take over the world. What earrings was I wearing there? What indeed? Oh, yes, my crystals. I lost one of my elephant and crystal earrings at the Koala Tavern last night. So annoying. Every time I go out, I either lose a piece of jewellery or break a piece of jewellery. I'm glad that the earring that I lost wasn't of, great value, like I made it myself, and it wasn't valuable, or would have been really pissed off. But it's always something, this is the trouble. When you dance wildly, shamanic wild dancing, you're going to lose your jewellery. At one point my necklaces fell off too. It's probably when I lost the earring. They went flying and some drunk picked it up and put it in their pocket as a trophy. I said that to some woman. She just stared at me like, it really happens. I've had that much jewellery stolen or picked up when I used to lose it at the casino. It's ridiculous. All my gold. Don't wear gold to your to the Treasury Casino, people. You go down to the and they even give you the sarcastic look. You go down to the lost property and you say, "Oh, I've lost such and such an item." They just go, "Oh yeah." And then you ask them, "Can you at least go through the book, see if anyone's handed it, or what particular date?" And then, of course, I always have trouble remembering what particular date I was there, because I was there a lot in the old days, so it could have been a Friday or a Saturday, or anyway. And then when I couldn't tell them the date, they'd sneer at me like I was a liar. And so then they would only look at the one day and not say, "Can you check the other day as well, in case I can't remember exactly which night it was." Oh, they were pricks. And I knew just the way they were behaving. They were taking all the bloody gold. I'm sure of it. All the gold. That's if any got handed in. Most of the punters were taking it. Oh my God. Anyway, listen, I don't ever have to go back to that place after they abused me when my dog died. I don't ever have to see their ugly fucking faces again, or endure their nastiness ever again. And I'm free. I'm free. I can go wherever I like, to whatever venue I like. If I want to go back there because I want to see specific friends, I could go back, but I choose not to, because, integrity is everything. And they're not going to give me back my gold, nor are they going to give me back, my honour, after humiliating me and degrading me when I was grieving my dead dog, by the way. So why, one curious minds must ask, why I, the Tanya, the shaman, the witch, the Viking, the Jew, the wild woman in the night, the psychedelic dreamer, and Miss Five, why any of us would bother ever setting foot place in that stinking place ever again. Did used to stink too. All the people that wouldn't use deodorant or wash their vajayjays. Oh, it was foul. So no, I don't have to be in that situation. And where was I? Oh yes, musing about my lost elephant earring. Anyway, it's okay. Life goes on. I'm going to get us a drink of water. Well, myself a drink of water while you come with me, YouTube world, because, yeah, my throat closes up over there. I don't know why. I was fine before I started filming. Oh, it's dark in here. It's very dark in here, people of Earth. Right. Aren't we spoiled having electricity and refrigeration and now filtered water? That's a gift I've given myself only in the last week and a half, when I realised I was right about them poisoning our water supply. Them being our governments and our councils. It's just putrid what's going on. No wonder I had a breakdown. It's sort of it's good to know that I got it right, but it's very devastating to know that I got it right. This is the problem. It had the same effect when the last epoch began, that I knew I was right and nobody would believe me. Well, there you go. The proof is in the pudding, and the truth always comes out in the end. All you have to do is wait. Right, the truth is, Mama T needs a drink of water right about now. I just feel kind of icky. Icky, people of Earth, icky. What I really want is a cup of tea, but I've had 4 cups of tea this morning, and I'm trying to cut back because my bladder's killing me. It's going to kill me in the end, I'm quite certain of that. It killed my dog, it killed all 3 cats. So I'm walking the line, people. I'm trying not to panic, but I'm walking the line. So here we go. Today I finished this calla lily, 23rd of June 2022, and I posted a very happy, delighted picture of me wearing it and smiling, but such a massive big photo takes up the whole screen. I'll just show you the calla lily and you don't need to see the rest of me. You know what I look like if you've been following this channel for long enough, longer than 5 minutes. By the gods. Well, so yeah, today, 2 years ago, I finished that calla lily. So that's interesting. I was branching out trying to learn silversmithing because until then I'd mainly been focusing on just spoons and flatware, and I think I made that from a scrap piece of spoon that I had flattened out, so I was quite happy with it, but it could have been better. It could have been better. I can improve. I said that in my video yesterday, didn't I? Now you can see that I'm highly ambitious and extremely hard on myself, and sometimes overcompensate and other times decompensate when I think I'm not up to a task, so I have a meltdown over that. And between all the meltdowns, I've got a PhD in failure and meltdowns by now. I could have been amazing. I could have been healthy and wealthy and in a love partnership that's soul nourishing and authentic and true and loyal and faithful. I could have had all these things if I wasn't constantly stymied by my health or some other destructive, evil fucking force, like my family of origin and my first marriage, first and only marriage. So yes, there you have it. 23rd of June 2024, that was today, I wrote, exhausted today but spent some time out in the garden with Charlie, rejoicing in the warm winter sunshine on my back, and listened to podcasts on YouTube and rested. When it got cold around 2 p.m, I went to bed. I already told you that. I had a lovely time last night. I am grateful for my handsome, talented friends and alter egos, and for the dance. My life is finally beautiful and awesome, and when or if I get healthier with the CPAP, that's if the doctors decide to go ahead with it, I guess, I may find I have even more energy / power / mana / mojo to achieve even greater things. Smiley face. And yes, I'm just sitting on the cusp of great change and, as always, hoping for the best. 23rd of June 2023, 9 a.m, up and at 'em. I slept well. I only got up to pee once during the night. Such a relief. Hopefully I am on the mend. Denial is not just a long pee of river, Tanya. River of pee, Tanya. Anyway, it's another beautiful winter's morning. The sun is shining. Life is, well, life, and mostly good when you go with the flow and allow it. 1 year ago, people of Earth. Before the shit hit the fan and my dog died, am I right? Jesus. But anyway, here we go. I just came back from a walk with Beauregard and Charlie. We stopped to say hello to Peter and little Miss Coco. Peter was not feeling well, with a chest cold. Randomly, she usually hates all men. Charlie sidled up to him. I said, "Watch her, as she often attacks men." So he kept very still. I said, "She should be all right, as her eyes aren't spinning, which is a sign of aggression." She climbed up on his arm and sat on his shoulder, staring right into his soul. Then she climbed around the back of his neck and perched on his left shoulder. It was very strange behaviour for her. She's not normally that friendly to men she doesn't know very well, and the staring into his soul was I actually got a little bit frightened. I thought, hope nothing bad's about to happen to him, but thankfully it was just a bad cold and he got better, right? But it freaked me out. And maybe that's what she was picking up on, that he wasn't all that well, you know. It was very gorgeous. It was just gorgeous, but it was weird behaviour on her part. I took her off him and we continued chatting. Next thing I knew, she was climbing up his sleeves and shirt again. I said, "Uh-oh, Peter, it seems she likes you now." Jared is the only man she usually cuddles up to. The times are a-changing, just astonishing, but also a little bit cute. I didn't have my iPhone with me, or I would have taken a photo. It was quite surprising. Oh, well, that's a nice photo of myself. My goodness. Gee, I scrub up okay, don't I, when I put all the makeup on and feeling triumphant and defiant and positive and a bit wild and carefree and beautiful. Yes. Now we've got the trouble with all the cords, by the gods. Here we go. Just wind this back down. I'm going to take that off next time I show you a photo. But yeah, I like that photo of myself. I look quite good. I mean, I look like an older lady. I was 58 last year, wasn't I? I look like an older woman, but I look good for an old bag, I reckon. Bit of makeup and a bit of va-va-va-vum, babies. I notice my hair's curling this winter. There's another curl. Getting curly hair in my old age. It's a bit astonishing. Must be something to do with the change in hormones. The change in hormones. Oh well. 23rd of June 2022. The past 2 days I got hammered with, oh Jesus, yes, that was so bad. I got hammered with such bad bronchitis that I thought I might just die. 57 years of dying over it. So I started a 3-day course of prednisone, which sends me completely bonkers, prednisone. I'm not actually crazy, but prednisone tips me into some kind of psychotic state every time. Today I sat in my garden on a blanket in the warm winter sun to heal my scars on my back. I had a cardigan on, and to give extra warmth to my lungs. Yeah, I did that today too, and it was actually lovely. Looking at my teeth. Another fucking dead tooth by the looks of it. I do goddess. Will you still love me? Will you still want me when I'm toothless and 64? I doubt it. I do. Well, I'll still have my great personality. It's not all bad. Anyway, I kind of have to laugh. I did my shamanic trance drumming, listened to Tuvan throat singing, took my dog and bird for our usual walk around the block, then came home and finished polishing my calla lily pendant I started making 3 days ago. So I'd worked on it for 3 days. Now my ear's playing up. Dear Goddess, stop it. Ouch. I have achieved a lot in the past week with a freshly sutured wound, plus the absolutely exhausting chronic bronchitis, plus not being able to walk properly for the first 40 minutes each morning and feeling weak and dizzy. Because I didn't have enough oxygen, I was sick, and then at night I don't breathe, so it was just all too. I don't know how I didn't die, to be honest. I know that sounds histrionic, but I really don't know how. I have not died, and at 59 I'm still going. It's nothing short of miraculous, quite frankly, given how many times I have actually died for brief periods since childhood, by the way. The path of a shaman. It's full fucking on. My goodness. I also had nerve pain in my left thigh this morning, but I fought my way through, as I do each day. I am grateful for my cleaning lady who comes each Thursday to clean the bathroom and vacuum and mop my floors. Oh, and I'm getting my lawns mowed tomorrow, which means I'll have to get up and move everything when he comes in the morning. It's a huge help. I still have the dusting, washing, etc. to do. Last week I dusted my studio as it was thick with dust, but I still need to do the rest of my home. I did my bedroom the other day, but I've got to do it here properly, and all the other rooms. Oh dear Goddess, it's a daunting task. Here's the calla lily I made. I've got no problem sitting doing creative projects for 3 days at a time and work my ass off, all hyper focused and rigid and going kind of out of my mind. But asked me to do the dusting, and I'm like, yeah, sorry, yeah, bye, I'm out of here. I'm really naughty. This is why I've been single for 29 years. No, that's not the reason. I've been single for 29 years because dickhead free zone people. I didn't want to have my heart broken again and be destroyed ever again by a man. It's just not survivable, people. Recently, my beautiful friend Lynn told me 2 statements about who I am. You are an acquired taste, delivered lovingly with a smile. And you are good at being poor, meaning that I've lived this way for 27 years, even after renouncing my vows of poverty and chastity, as I got heartily sick of living on the poverty line. I am scrambling like a demon to change that, but my health is still so fragile that it simply won't allow it. But I am striving. These 2 statements sit like heavy, fresh, baked bread slathered with butter in my mouth. Don't get me wrong, Lynn loves me like no other human on this planet and has provided for me succor and charity and gifts of heart thousands of times, and put up with me when I'm in my very, very bad moods I get into occasionally, when I'm just skirting around a breakdown and I lose my shit, am I right? Honestly, that's true friendship, true loving friendship, when your friends put up with you when you're in a weird kind of altered state. So I know her comments are well-intentioned. I also am thinking about my ramblings yesterday where I channeled the impending arrival of my Bashet. Bashet is Hebrew for the one who's destined to be your husband or wife or life partner or, de facto partner or however you want to frame that reference, but the one who's your true love that's committed to you and has eyes only for you. That's who your Bashet is for men and for women. And this morning I woke up, and whatever gender you are, and this morning I woke up with the stark realization that there is no man out there for me. What year was this? 2022. Yeah, that was a fucking hard year. Well, all my years have been hard, but I was really struggling with real deep sadness about not having anyone in my life, which I move in and out of those states too. No one I can trust with both my heart and my loins, and momentarily I thought, it is good that I am dying. So this ridiculous cleaving to romantic ideals of true love and protection, comfort and affection, passion and devotion can just stop. What a relief that will be for everyone, but especially me. But I woke up at dawn again. It's funny how when I'm very sick, I wake up at dawn. Almost like an ancient call to arms of an ancient warrior. And then in brackets I wrote warrior, WORRIER, because it really is anxiety and lack of oxygen and struggling to hold my body together when I'm sick. That makes me sleep so much less than I actually need and wake me up in the mornings. The slashings on my back inherently caused by sunshine, a stark reminder of the price I have paid for staying in the light whilst fighting a smiting that began with my very first breath on this planet. For the love of all the gods, it's been arduous. Sorry, I'm hot now. I've got to take my cardigan off. Oh, I can't believe I'm feeling hot when technically it's only 14 degrees Celsius. So, I'll get cold. In 5 minutes I'll be cold again and then I'll be like, I need my cardigan. Anyway, but here I am, Hineni, awake in this game of life, this miracle, this majesty, passing out the travesty and living with diamonds on the soles of my shoes. A comedy. The taste of love, acquired and mulled, sits in my clenched, hard-bitten jaws and sings its siren song. Not too much longer. We have things to co-create with the gods, and I am their finest art piece. Well, we all are, aren't we humans? We really are quite miraculous. Never forget that. When some arsehole you come across at work or at school or at university or in your gym or wherever you are, puts you down, just look at them and think, we're all such amazing, majestic masterpieces, and you are me and I am you, but never the twain shall meet. Sayonara, sweethearts. Just go be awesome somewhere else, and but don't let them get to you. You know what I mean? It's like we're all amazing. Each individual soul on this planet don't all get along. Some of us don't like each other, but we're all still miraculous regardless of what we think of it all. Oh, 23rd of June, 2021. Unplug this bloody thing, it's driving me batch. Here we have the hyacinth and the jonquils. My jonquils didn't flower last year. They came up, but no flowers. It was odd. Don't know what to do about that. But the hyacinths are up again, and they flowered. They flowered, obviously, in 2021. My hyacinth is blooming. I had to cover her. Oh, now my skin cancerous scar tissue are itchy. I had to cover her with steel mesh as the bush turkeys dug up all my expensive precious bulbs. So I am relieved to see this beauty. I actually thought there were none left. Miracles, people. Laura wrote, so sad to see her in Hyacinth prison, but she is beautiful. Well, those turkeys, they were all around today creating havoc in the garden. So I have to cover up my precious plants with mesh to keep them off. They just scratch everything up with their feet for their mounds, and they really like very expensive bulbs, especially tulips. They ate my tulips last year. I was livid. Dug them up and ate them. Like about $15 a bulb, little bastards. But anyway, I do love the wild birds, but they can be little bastards at times. 23rd of June 2021. Oh, this is pretty, you'll like this. It's a Banksia, an Australian wildflower. Or is it South African? No, I think that one's a native Australian one. But anyway, it's all very lovely. Last year it flowered so abundantly I had to cut it really hard back. It was just, I've never, in all the years I've lived here, it was here when I moved in, 21, I'd never had it flower so prolifically before. It was just so happy last year. Mama T finally fixed the toilet seat back on. Lou with the view kindly sent me the replacement parts. Thank you. But holy hell, it is taking me an hour and a half to replace it. The constant use of Domestos, which is like very high concentrated bleach that I use on the toilet, had eaten into the bolts, and one had to be cut off with my trusty intrepid mini Dremel. I tried a hacksaw too, lots of swearing and almost crying, but I did it. Amazing. Giving myself a firm hug as there is no Jack Daniels or chocolate in my house. I could do with something yummy to celebrate my determination. All good. The prize is no more wobbly fairground attraction, Lou. Also, the gas fitter came this morning to check why my oven blew the gas out while I was baking an apple pie a few weeks ago. Fairly new oven, so should not be faulty. He couldn't find anything wrong with it and said it might have been a one-off. Told me to be careful not to shut the door hard during cooking, as that might have blown out the pilot light. I didn't open or shut the door as the pie looked very well cooked on the outside, but was still frozen inside and the gas flames were out. It's freaking weird, but I notice sometimes on windy days the gas is blown out on the stovetop too, so it's not my imagination, but it checked out okay today, so that is all we can do. 2 jobs sorted today. Time to take, pardon me, the Beau and the Charlie girl for a walk. And I need another drink of water. Trigger warning: suicide, child sexual abuse, domestic violence, grief, trauma, and unrelenting lack of real love or intimacy. Oh dear goddess, I'm not even sure I'm in the mood for my own fucking misery today. But anyway, soldier on we must. Last night before I went to sleep, what year was this? 2021. Last night before I went to sleep, I looked at the photo of myself with my newborn Crystal, who I had just brought home from hospital. I thought about the ravages of time and how deeply I have loved both my children. It almost bordered on insanity. I woke up not long ago and thoughts travelled through my head about my marriage and early life. Really still a teenager playing house with 2 infant children and surrounded by so many abusers. I had stark memories of all the microaggressions that began the moment I signed my life away on the ketubah and the civil marriage certificate. Because I had a Jewish wedding, people. A Reformed Jewish wedding. I had a naive hope that becoming a wife would gift me freedom, safety, love, honour. But there was very little of those things. I merely became an object, a possession, a thing to be cut down and humiliated at every opportunity. I held strong and stayed in that lackluster, passionless marriage out of pride. I did not want to fail, but ultimately I was failing anyway, and I feared for myself and my children. When I left with my young daughters, all hell broke loose. My own mother betrayed me constantly with my ex-husband. When I came home, freshly strangled and beaten, welts and bruises still forming around my neck where I had been throttled, my mother's response was, "We should have beaten you years ago." It's how much of a fucking psychopath I was spawned by. I threw her out of my house and moved out of the marital home 6 weeks later. No money, and ended up on the single mother's benefit in dire poverty forever after. Amen. Lawyers, the family court, and later the adult guardian, all working against me as they enjoyed the victimization of a woman and her 2 daughters. Something wrong with my throat, I can actually see. Don't know what that is. Anyway, I won't worry about it. I got too many things to worry about. The new manifestations of malaise or disease. I'm fucking healthy, I'm powerful, and I'm thriving, and I'm living my best life until the day comes when I can't do this anymore, people of Earth. Anyway, where was I? Later, the adult guardian, all working against me as they enjoyed the victimization of a woman and her 2 daughters. They really were fucking corrupt, greedy, and sadistic, by the way. I almost didn't survive that year, struggling to get my divorce, by the way. I thought about my last lover, who I had hoped against all hope might finally choose me. But there had been arrant treachery on both sides too. He had been cold and unrelentingly stalkerish, but we had begun with what I considered a grand passion. Oh dear goddess. and I had ruined any chance at real love with him when I stated he was as cold and clinical as having a pap smear done. The woman I told this to had pumped me for information like one of those milking attachments you put on a cow's udder. She was so callow, that was Lana, by the way. She was so callow and vicious and envious of even the merest thought that I might have found love, that she went to that filthy pub, Irish Murphy's, and told him what I had said. And I had said it, so I had to stand by what I'd said. But that was a cruel and vicious thing to do. To both him and I, by the way. Because he would never have heard that directly from me. I trusted that bitch. I was horrified. I apologised most authentically to him. And I did apologise. And I was truly, truly horrified that my words had come back to bite me. But instead, he made it his life's mission to follow me at the pub and the casino, and to stare or leer and drag women along to also stare and try to humiliate me. And so began the old trope, the pattern of deeply traumatizing abuse that has marred my life since infancy. If they can't fuck you, they will fight you. And the reason why there was a long pause was a friend of mine actually paraphrased that to me last night. So I feel like I'm in a fucking hell loop having the same words regurgitated to me, But it's true for a lot of men in relationships with women. If they can't fuck you, they will fight you and try to destabilise or annihilate you in some way, or even rape or kill you. Been there, done that, got the t-shirts, babies. I also thought about my nascent friendship with Jared decades ago. He was a lifeline in my life back then, and because I had never had a man show me any real kindness or decency, I fell deeply in love with him. There has never been any intimacy between us of a sexual or even romantic nature, but he was a solid friend and ally, and at that time I needed someone like that. I really did. I'm grateful for the soul-nourishing friendship that stood the test of time. I am, however, still often distressed that I never found a loving sexual partnership, and that each time I fell in love with a man, I was sabotaged by external forces that were usually out of my control, almost supernaturally evil in nature. I could be paranoid and think that this thing with my throat only really started after I had the sleep study test, but I'm going to have a look at my videos prior to that, because it might have already been happening prior, but I feel like it's got worse since they forced air into my fucking throat. And if that's the case, and it's not psychosomatic, then CPAP's not going to work for me, people. Do you see how I'm stymied at every turn, no matter what I do to try and save my own fucking life and have a real life with real loves in it and be healthy and successful? My body betrays me. My own body finishes off the job that men fail to achieve to do. Where was I? I was sabotaged by external forces that were usually out of my control, almost supernaturally evil in nature. Except the last one. I ruined that all by myself. Lana was a filthy, vicious piece of trash to take my private words and spread them around. But I did say them. This morning I almost had to laugh though. The pap smear experience. My poetic license rang true like a guillotine blade cutting through the dross, the lies, the deception, and the lack of real intimacy or love. A man who truly loves you, wants to be with you, enjoys your company, lights up when you walk into a room. I had seen Dave's face light up many times, but it was false. He never stood by me or made any sort of commitment. It was all some sick, twisted little game. In fact, my entire life was an exercise in disaster and treachery, in abject horror and loneliness, in surviving so many abuses thrust upon my infant body that it set a chain in perpetual motion that denied me of ever having real, safe, nurturing love or a life with a man, any man. I thought I could resolve it by suiciding, but that failed too. So I had to pull up my big girl britches, those bitching, itching Volina Gutkas, and Volina Gutkas means woolen pants made out of wool, hand-knitted, itchy, scratchy underwear, like they had in the olden days before nylon was invented and polyester. Pull up my big girl britches, those bitching, itching Volina Gutkas, and start again from no thing, even from my own death. Almost 6 years later, and what have I made of myself? Not much progress, still cleaving to love of the man that played me, an illusory, hellish disappointment. But the gods did gift me closure after my former psychopath homeopath lover died in 2016. So that showed me that my life is being healed, that all contracts with devils not of my choosing are being sealed or separated in the igniting fire of angelic light and smite, and all I need do is believe, trust, and wait. My star is rising. Got cast down as a meteoric obliteration in 2015, but this year I saw it begin the inexorable climb to the outer reaches of space again. Little gifts lighting my way. Gifts of love and encouragement, gifts of hope, my ever-burning love reclaiming long dead or defunct parts of my soul, awakening my creativity, blossoming my bliss. I have a long way to go before I can call myself a success, but it's not the destination that counts, it's the journey. And what a ride. 23rd of June 2020, 12:35 a.m. I feel weak and dizzy, but I finished off typing up a diary. Everything hurts, including my psyche. Painful, all of it. But only 2 more large exercise books to go, each 320 pages long. I may need to pace myself as the epic typing is bloody exhausting. Maybe I should have just burnt them all without bothering to keep a digital record. Maybe my whole life is just so much meaningless drivel. I lost entire decades grieving over fucking idiots. But I suppose that gifted me the strength in my crone years to gather my wits and look back with compassion for my younger self who was never safe, and remember that I deserved a bigger and better life than that epic bullshit, and perhaps I will overcome it somehow. Perhaps. Perhaps. It's cold tonight. I think I might go to bed and dream my psychedelic dreams and create a new life for myself, one breath at a time. Still in 2020, the first mug of homemade coffee I have had in months. It looks like my angel is still watching over me. I wonder what I did to merit such illustrious company, winky face. And here he is. He's a little bit off centre, but you can see his face, and he's got what looks like either long curly hair. He's or dreadlocks perhaps, but you can't, maybe, could be dreadlocks. And then his chin is here, and he's sort of got shadowing going over his neck and his Adam's apple and ear, what looks like a tiny bit of a moustache or a shadow. But yeah, there's what looks like a little dog here, and like another little doggy face. So there's other little faces there too, but I interpret it that he was an angel watching over me. Why did I interpret that? Because it's not like he's got wings or anything. Oh, there's a face underneath his chin, like another face, facing, looking towards us, looking sort of female actually. So so I found that really interesting. So when I get interesting images in my coffee grounds, I post them up, and I usually get all my friends to try and interpret it for me or tell me what they see if we don't have an interpretation. And it's fun and interesting. I haven't done that for a while actually. My beautiful talented daughter painted this of me some years ago, when all I had to sit on was a donated blue couch sourced for me by Judith Krantz. See? I do remember the charitable acts as well as the ignominy, the human condition of give and take, life and death, loyalty and treachery, dark and light. Sighs. Anyway, I just walked into the lounge and smiled at old me with my beautiful Tristan on my lap. He died in 2011. And it struck me, the look of satisfaction and accomplishment for my mere survival, even on my second-hand but gifted couch. I have been loved and protected, if only by the gods. I had a lovely chat this morning to Heidi Sorexi, my mother's first husband's daughter, or she's a twin, from his second marriage. She is the only member of my family of origin who's not actually related to me by blood, because she's my mother's first husband's child, who still is happy to speak to me and treat me with loving kindness. Obviously my cousins are still in contact with me, but I'm talking about, my half-sister and her family, and, my own the generation before that are all dead, thank the gods in a way. That's why I'm starting to blossom even at this late stage of life, no longer under their oppression and viciousness. She told me that my mother and my own self had always been kind to her when she came to live in New Zealand. She was born and raised in Germany. I thanked her for her kindness towards me also, a rare privilege and a gift in those days and even now. Value your beloveds. They are angels sent from heaven. Yes, they are. So here we have the painting of me with the orange cat on the couch. My daughter's a very talented artist, and so is my friend Jared, and they're just so talented, and I'm so proud of them, and I love them so much. But, well, you know, I don't see them very well. Crystal's did make contact with her on Tuesday, and she was lovely to me on Tuesday, and then awful to me on Wednesday when I was breaking down. So I thought, I can't do this. I can't do it. I keep trying, but I can't actually, it's not sustainable. Trying to keep people in my life that are cruel, so can't go there really. I say this and I keep trying. It's almost like I enjoy being fucking brutalised by my own spawn and my family of origin. It's getting to the point where it's getting a bit disturbing, people. But anyway, I was hoping that we would patch things up and have another go at our relationship as mother and daughter, but I don't think that's going to happen now. I'm playing loud romantic music, baking a lemon and yogurt cake, which has so much oil it will probably upset my stomach. Oi. It smells delicious as it bakes though, and I feel redolent with happiness. I typed up some of the most painful memories of my life back in 2000, and instead of falling down the rabbit hole of despair like I used to do, told you I'd get cold again. Down the rabbit hole of despair like I used to do, I am in full-fledged Bodicea flight, feeling fabulous and accomplished. David went on to spawn 3 more children, and in letting go, I gifted myself healing. It took another 20 years, long, hard years, attracting more psychopaths and false feckless men, but also some beautiful, mysterious and miraculous moments were had. I'm satisfied with my life in this moment. I could not have done more or better. There were no options, but I survived. And here, in a time of plague and complete disarray, like a Heyoka spirit, the Tanya is thriving in her own unique, small way. The love you make is never lost. It might be despoiled and forgotten or misbegotten by feckless, ugly curs, but it is its own magic. It heals even if it breaks you completely down. Now I am gifted love from little, rather spiritually awake children and a few good friends, my daughter and my pets and my sacred space garden. It is sublime, divine, in perfect timing. Ha ha, even my diaries and old trauma experiences no longer have the power to slay me. That, my friends, is progress in the processing of the becoming of the Tanya. I had a song in my head before. Love me tender, love me true. I thought to myself, love me without agenda, without fears and doubts, without bullshit games and superficial artifice. Tenderness of touch is nice, but I need someone real. Then I giggled as I know my fate too well. Rise and shine in the might of the smokingly furious warrior goddess, divine, formidable, winky face. I booked Bobo in to see the vet tomorrow for his parvo booster, $103, fuck my life. But parvo is rampant at the moment, so it will keep him safe. No, it probably killed my dog. What year was that? What year was that, people of Earth? 2020. Died 3 years later. Jesus. Well, I guess it's a choice between spleenal cancers or parvovirus. I came home and dragged Socks inside. He was not happy about that, but it's too cold to sleep outside. He got excited about my lemon yogurt cake, so I gave him some. He loved it so much, he reached out to snatch some more with his paw. I had not realised he had a sweet tooth, laughing my ass off. That cat would eat anything, by the gods. He was a beautiful cat, but he was a greedy little bugger. Now I know who ate the biscuits that were left on the table but disappeared. Didn't occur to me that it was Socks eating them. I posted an article which since got removed, but I'll read it anyway, my comment on the article. The cleaners in hospital are sometimes far better healers than the medical personnel. Thank you to the sweet cleaner woman who desperately craved to be a mother, who nurtured my newborn for a few moments as I lay between worlds, stoned out of my mind on all the birthing drugs, almost unconscious that I had given birth at all. It was kind of a delayed kind of shock or a fugue state, to be honest. That cleaning woman shared the love for my newborn that in those moments I lacked, and breathed life back into my soul, and taught me that my birth had been miraculous and valuable. She helped me fall in love with my baby. The other cleaning lady was the beautiful Indigenous woman who I called to the foot of my bed in my fugue state after my suicide attempt. She smiled in a radiant angelic light and got me out of bed and helped me make a much desired cup of tea and showed me to the toilets and breathed life back into me with her stolid calmness and Earth Mother joy. To you, my Earth angels, random strangers you meet when you're vulnerable in hospital, by the way. Universal unconditional love from women mostly scorned by society for their drudging, lowly job. Thank all the gods for you, or more specifically for my sweet Aboriginal sister. Thank Biami for you. I thank all my earth angels, current and past, who inspired me and nurtured me on my walk. 23rd of June 2019. My friend Marty was allowed to take photos of some of the hieroglyphs at the sacred site at Curryong near Gosford. And I'll share them with you because they're beautiful, and the images are quite astonishing. There's things that look like possible ships or UFOs. There's another one that looks like that there, although that might be representing sun or sunset. There's a mushroom, there's birds and a snake and another bird. But they're just astonishing. Here's another sun. Just astonishing. And I've always wanted to see these things, and I was so grateful that he shared the photos with us. You and me, YouTube world. Because people share with me, I share too. It's just beautiful too. Let's try and scroll down a bit. Looks like a little bee, that one. Here's another one. A man sitting on a chair with what looks like a Egyptian style headdress. There's another hat of some kind and a bone on a square platter perhaps. I don't know what these represent, but all very interesting. My friend Marty is a shaman too. Feeling very lightheaded and dizzy now. Might have to go back to bed when this is done. At Megan Phillips. Oh, hang on. I'll scroll down to the photograph so you know what I'm referencing. Here's a photograph of my childhood home and my mother. Oh, well, you can't see it, but out of shot, my mother bought the old Mrs. Walker's house next door. But there's me, age 14, painting the house. Yes, I had to work for my very existence with my parents. I was always being exploited by them in one way or another, actually. That continued right up until their deaths. And I don't mind, I'm not saying anything against kids helping around the house, doing chores around the house and doing their part. But, you know, expecting me to paint the house and all the other abuses that went with it, it's just beyond awful. Tanya, 14, painting my mother's house. I'm quietly furious as every dirty motherfucker in Greater Wellington has driven past the house across from the sea and whistled or cat-called out to me, because I have lovely shaped legs and I was, you know, a scrawny kid in those days, being only 14. You can see how skinny I was. Anyway. Very bad trauma memories looking at that house. But across the road was the beach where that was my true home and my sanity and my freedom, and thank God for that. If I'd been raised in suburbia my entire childhood, I would not have survived it. At Megan Phillips, who was my cousin who was born and raised in Auckland. This is my childhood home at 382 the Esplanade Island Bay until I was 15. The beach is across the road. Then we moved to Case's house called the Zeno Building at 351 the Parade. that later got sold and turned into a restaurant. We lived in Melbourne for 3 years, from the ages of 9 till 12 also. I hated Melbourne, but there I met my childhood friend Margaret Jakovic, so that was some happiness while living with Case. In these pics, I'm 14 and Mum made me, no pocket money, no appreciation, just child exploitation, made me paint our house. Exploitive fucking narcopath, but I was a child and always went with the flow. I mean, what was I going to do? If I said no, she would have beaten me, so it's not that hard to paint a house. I'd paint this house for myself. You know, I can easily paint it, at least the inside rooms, but paint is expensive and it's not my house. And it's rude that they haven't painted it in 21 years. Funny how she always found ways to rip me off later in life. Evil hag. She sold the land at Waiheke Island our pop left for me and put that money into Case's house. When I say our pop, I'm talking to my cousin Megan. That was the first inheritance they stole from me, but in typical Phillips fashion, my pop, or rather our pop, had trusted in her handshake and honour, Jesus, and nothing was ever in writing. My parents both proved later on to be very spiteful and envious of my pop wanting me to prosper, and they were equally spiteful and envious when my father-in-law paid off both my homes too. Here I write. It's the same when I married and Harry and Hilda paid off my husband's mortgage so we could live easy, which again my spoilt, entitled, dull intellect psychopath husband wasn't even satisfied that we were living freehold and to all intents and purposes were wealthy. He still demanded more and more money from his mother and, resented going to work and providing for me and the children. I mean, he really was a fucking pig. Later with our business, my evil, lying mother told people she owned our business. She never gave us a cracker, instead expected free food and fating. I just used to roll my eyes, but when she died and her full spite and salacious lies were put into her will, I realised that she had only ever hated me and wanted me utterly, utterly destroyed. Shit happens, or rather, shits happen. I will continue to blossom and rise above it, although it has taken me decades to heal from all of their abuses. Maybe I will only truly heal when I am dead. But one by one, I've witnessed my familial enemies and vicious former lovers and friends be smited by something bigger than each of us. I was always a good little girl and a good, kind woman, but 'twas not wise of them to continue to strive to damage me. My anger is not something to be teased or stoked or erupted. It is a fury of a child, debased and neglected and abused for so long that something in my psyche cracked wide open. I fear my own innate fury myself now, winky face, but sometimes that slow boiling in my guts and heart and mind, like a combustion engine in the Titanic, is all that keeps me alive. So I honour that. Here's a close-up of me aged 14. And you can see the beach behind my back. It's a very beautiful place where we lived, but I was surrounded by evil bastards, so I didn't really have a hope in Hades of having a normal childhood development, did I? It's amazing I turned out as well as I did, quite frankly. Not just amazing, but miraculous. I write here, the last time I was ever slim, I put on weight to protect myself. I even contemplated the fact that I was really a man trapped in a female body. I thought about being transgender. I am not. But at 14, with already years of sexual emotional abuse, I was not comfortable in my bleeding, vulnerable body. So it is quite miraculous that at 17 I met my husband and became a mother at 20 and again at 22 and floundered around fully embracing my femaleness and motherhood for decades. But after my divorce, my inner man came out to protect me, and only recently I feel in perfect harmonious balance with both my masculine and feminine qualities. Mind you, I had to stay celibate as I am done with liars, abusers, and creeps. Celibacy has gifted me with my own empowerment. I always spend years celibate after an awful breakup, the only way to survive for me. Recently, only in the past few weeks, I realised how deeply I still love someone, but love for me is dangerous, terrifying, and too often hugely sabotaged by spiteful, envious ghouls. So I'm praying and waiting for the one. If he ever wakes up to himself, and if the gods allow me to have the love I so richly deserve after a harrowing life, then it is happening for me, winky face. If not, next life. I pray for a life of peace and joy and authentic love. The rest is commentary. Ha ha ha. What year did I write that? 2019. When for some reason that makes sense only to the whimsical gods, I was still holding out against hope that my former lover from 2014 might choose me, and that never happened. He was never genuine from the very beginning and just played me for some kind of fucking torture victim, quite frankly. And from the comments section, my beautiful friend in Canada, Laura Martin, wrote how utterly despicable they were and the horrible way they treated you. I wish I could find that sweet young girl and give her a big hug and tell her that she is loved and appreciated. When I try to explain to people what my childhood was like, I sometimes say that it was a lot like the movie Carrie, except that I didn't have telekinetic powers. But my childhood was a picnic compared to what you have been through. And I wrote back, no comparisons. All trauma is relative to the experiencer, but yes, I did survive a lot even at that young age. And Laura replied, I suppose that is true, but the way I'm feeling, I kind of think it would have been a lot easier if we did have telekinetic powers. Oops, did I say that? And I can completely concur. That's why I'm smiling. When I saw that movie, I thought exactly the same. What a shame I don't have her powers. I would not have been tortured the way I had throughout my childhood. Me, Laura Martin, well, actually it was safer for our abusers. I would have burned all 3 houses down, as well as the illegal casino Trevor Singh and Graham Neidenich, later Denich, later John Moore owned. Always be suspicious of people, apart from women who take on their husbands' names when they marry, like that's a cultural thing, but always be wary of people who consistently change their names. They're always dodgy as fuck. Yes, I probably would have burned down Angela as well, but shh, nice, holy, sanctified thoughts. Ha ha. First comes the blood, then the boys, which is a quote from the movie Carrie. My family did not even wait for the menstrual bleeding. Dirty bastards. I longed to fly to New Zealand to punch my half-sister out for not protecting me as a child or as a 45-year-old woman with that will. Unholy, evil, cuntish cunt. But that is my squally Gaul talking. Just think how lovely and docile I shall be when not soaking in my own vomitous bile and rage. Ha ha ha. I have dociled down quite a lot in the past 5 years, by the way. It's amazing when you're not sitting with a permanent infection in the middle of your guts. Laura Martin. I'm not feeling particularly holy or sanctified right now. I've just been accused of being a bad Christian. Why, you ask? Well, I'm glad you asked. It was because I posted a humorous, satirical piece from the Andy Borovitz report about the rapist in chief, Donald Trump. Angry face. Megan Phillips. Hello, cousin. I always wondered what became of the land at Waiheke Island. Never knew your mother sold it. Had no idea. It seems Phillips have always lived near the sea, like the pic I showed you. It was in Nana Phillips's album, which I have. Hick, my inheritance, lol. Yes. She was kind of robbed too by my grandfather giving that land ostensibly for me, and then neither of us benefited from it. Strangers whose father fucked my mother and was very damaging and slanderous towards me benefited from that in the end. Me. Yes, we are definitely sea people. My mother's biological father was a ship's carpenter as a young man and had the ability to whistle the wind. So we have magical seafarers on both sides of the family tree, along with the usual narcopaths, psychopaths, and general nutters. And yes, I am still extremely pissed off about the Waiheke land. It would be worth a fortune now. You could have lived on it, or I could have holidayed there. But alas, destined and contrived into extreme poverty. Never mind. It's a beautiful day, and I am free of them all. Spiritual gold, if not actual gold, is more golden sometimes. Smiley face. Just threw open my back door just in time to catch sight of a very fat, friendly, pale-headed eastern rosella. They have yellow heads. Sitting on the back of one of my plastic chairs a few feet away from Charlie, having a quiet communication with him. Delightful. Alas, I did not get a photo, as he flew away as soon as I opened the door. Oh, so nice for Charlie to have wild bird visitors, though, as long as they are not trying to attack him. My friend Catherine Holdsworth, who I danced with regularly for many years at the Treasury Casino, wrote back, "Love birds." And I replied, "It was gorgeous. Off to take the handsome, newly bathed Beauregard for a walk, as I will be at hospital tomorrow for 4 hours for pre-admission, so will be too drained after that." By the gods, I was drained. Was utterly brutalised that whole frickin' morning, and yeah, it was 4 hours. I came home utterly traumatised because there was so much sexual inappropriateness going on. The phlebologist, the anaesthetist, and even the female spirometry nurse was just hostile and vicious to me and yelling at me when I didn't have the air to pump out to get the results she wanted so she could have perfection for her records. Meanwhile, I was struggling to actually breathe. Oh, they were sadistic, all of them. The only one that was kind was an older female nurse who was like probably in her early 60s, and I told her that if I died in my sleep during the surgery, I'd be grateful. And that proved to be a bit fucking prescient, because I did die in my not in my sleep, but I did die post-surgery briefly, about 2 hours after the surgery. So yeah, but she was the only decent, medical personnel in that hospital I saw that day. It was utterly abhorrent and triggering. Should not have put myself through the surgery the following day, which was also abhorrent and triggering. Even got into a fight with the young anaesthetist who wanted to fight me about, why wasn't I on CPAP and blah, blah, blah. And I said, "I'm not here for this argument. I'm here for a surgery. Do your job." He just looked at me. He was a bright red-haired, Scottish or Irish-looking, Australian-born doctor. And I went, "Not here for this. I'm about to be wheeled into surgery and you're wanting to fight me when I'm already triggered and distressed." I just looked at him, and he nodded, walked out, and the young Japanese-Australian woman, who barely spoke, both had been introduced to me. I think they were assisting each other, or one was training. She came in. I said, "I'm sorry about losing my temper, doctor, but that was absolutely inappropriate." She said, "Oh no, I actually concur. I understand why you're upset, Mrs. Aarons." Anyway, she gave me the best catheter job. It was so good I didn't even feel the needle coming in. I've had them fall out and bleed everywhere in previous surgeries at the QE2, but that surgery happened at the PA. But she was marvellous. I looked at her, I said, "Doctor?" She said, "Yes, Mrs. Aarons." I said, you will be the best anaesthetist I have ever met." I said, "I didn't even feel the needle going in, and I need to tell you, I've got a lot of antipathy to a lot of the staff here today, but you, young lady, are going to be a wonderful, or already was in actual terms, wonderful doctor." And she bowed to me like this. She was the sweetest thing, but I was proud of her. So you see, I'm not a complete asshole. Like, I acknowledge when people do their job and take pride in their work and are professional and treat me properly. And did I mention make a wonderful job of it? Anyway, I have asked the Holy One for a sign, so this is the second one in 24 hours. The little pale-headed Rosella coming to comfort me in my garden. Am I right? Oh dear Goddess. I've got chills when I think about it to this day. Here I write, I'm feeling weak and a tad nauseous and anxious about the impending excision of a defunct organ. Yes, it has to go, but my mind is fighting me. Weird, as I've been so ill for so long with it and soldiering on, and now the reality of having the surgery so suddenly thrust upon me has me shaking and vulnerable. Ridiculous. But I have decided if anything should go wrong with the surgery, or I find myself floundering in the shadowlands, unable to get back to reasonable physical health again, I will suicide. I don't care what anyone thinks, what the gods think, or even if I am forced to incarnate again. Maybe I will get lucky next time, but I'm done suffering like an animal, kicked by fate and by abusers at every turn. I am too old for any further bullshit. So this is a promise I will keep to myself, and I am making it public, so when or if it happens, you will all know it was my own decision and choice, dying with my own dignity. This was before the COVID event happened and medical staff were barbiturates and medazolining patients and murdering them. Dying with dignity of my own free will and choice, as opposed to being medicated with life-ending medications because you're just seen to be a useless eater or an inconvenience, by the way. That's what's been going on right across the globe in the last 4 years. This is not a guilt trip or a drama performance. This is my intended future if I should get much worse in my being. Here I am, still fighting on 5 years later, not feeling very well. So clearly I'm choosing life, people, even though life often seems unrealistic and untenable and unkind. And I don't have a great future ahead of me unless my health improves and I'm able to somehow wealth create enough money to have a better quality of life or find a loving partner. There's no future for me. There's no grandchildren. There's nothing to look forward to. So I try not to fall into a deep hole of despair, because I've been in those holes before and pulled myself out of them and been gifted the holy grail of some kind of almost unreachable hope. And I have been gifted hope in recent months with sweetness from my beautiful platonic friends, one who was very romantic and sweet towards me, and it's kind and it's motivating and encouraging me to have hope that I may be loved in a real loving partnership one day, someone who can be with me. It's schoolgirlish and silly, but what else have I got going on in my life? What else have I ever had but that rare and precious, absurdist hope? If I get better, then glory be to all the gods. But I will strive to continue to enjoy what time is allotted me. I am not giving up on myself just yet, but I am being called to declare my own authority, as it is all I have left after a traumatic life. From the comments section, I wrote, "Love you too, my gorgeous, radiant heart of light, and all my other wonderful friends, part of me and family. I am okay. This is not a threat of any imminent demise. just a promise to myself. Little did I know that the next day I was about to, or 2 days later, I was about to fucking have a near-death experience that was not quite the full near-death experience. Like I didn't actually see, people welcoming me or be in the light, but I was following a long ribbon that was my out-breath. So close enough to give me enough of a bloody fright to make me fight very, very hard when I came back to this body and this life to continuously fight for life, fight for myself. Harder than I've probably ever fought before in the last 5 years. And the timing could not have been more perfect given what was about to be unleashed on our planet. This is not a threat of any imminent demise, I write, just a promise to myself to not go down in any sort of violating, ignoble way. All complex trauma survivors feel this way about our bodies. We will fight for our body autonomy to the bitter end, and when our health is severely compromised, we choose to bow out gracefully. It is a final gift of dignity to ourselves. But don't freak out just yet. Mama T / the Tanya, aka me, has survived decades of horror, and if my sweet, short, mad hobbit body can keep going, it will. I survived my hysterectomy, bladder, vagina repair in 2007, which was so awful. The nursing staff referred to me as the poor bitch down the hall. I heard them. This is how I feel very, very triggered and terrified and vulnerable whenever I access any kind of medical assistance, including the sleep study, which was benign, but triggered a breakdown. Well, it was kind of leading up to that, but before that, but it's what tipped me over the edge, people. And as I said, it was benign. Like there was the staff member was actually very kind to me, but it was just, I'm that fucking traumatized from all the other medical neglect and malfeasances I've experienced in hospitals and with doctors. My then psych nurse friend threatened the QE2 hospital staff with the Health Rights Commission. They had no idea I have many powerful and professional friends on my team. Never fuck with they. Poor bitch. Catherine Holdsworth wrote, Tanya, you are a powerful force I so admire. All power to you, goddess, and so much love, you courageous, resilient heart. I replied, hugs, but we goddesses always rise and shine in our own consummate power, and only other gods or goddesses recognize our beauty. Kiss, kiss, kiss. P.S. I am really happy in my own mind these days. It's just my failing body that fills me with trepidation. But Ezrat Hashem, by the will of God, I have lived all my life between both worlds, been forced to choose life all my life, except on one serious occasion when I did not. And the gods still dragged me back, kicking and screaming, laughing my ass off. My will is strong and my spirit is strong, but my body is fighting me daily. All good. I survived many things in life, and this is just another event. I pray I feel much better too, and life treats me with much greater kindness. I look forward to better health and wonderful blessings. Thank you all for your loving support. I value your kindness. At Kelly Ann, one word, indomitable. They have pushed and peaked, kicked, beaten, strangled, impoverished, even raped us, physically, mentally, spiritually. Yet even at death's door we have risen and shone at the 11th hour. At the 11th hour and 59th minute. I am amazed at how miraculously, powerfully, resilient and strong we both are. Never, ever, ever let the bastards grind us down, for we are some finely ground powder by now, and we are still gonna get right up their nostrils and permeate their evil guts. Don't give up just yet. I send you more strength, enough for 1st of July. Hugs. And oh dear goddess, I pray she's okay. I haven't had any contact or seen her active on Facebook since December this last year, 2023. Update 26th of June 2019. I'm fighting every day for my life. I even fought an entire team of doctors when they refused pain medication to take home with me. The young surgeon tried to delegitimize and invalidate me. I completely lost my shit. He had already made inappropriate comments to me at pre-admission, 24th of June 2019, as had the male blood tech and the anaesthetist. So I went into surgery already traumatized and came out in post-surgical pain, which is normal, but the pain continued all day yesterday. They called me a liar. I will seriously consider making a formal complaint to the Health Rights Commission, but I need to heal from the immediate effects of the surgery and ensuing trauma first. But now it's 4:56 a.m, so I managed to sleep from 7:30 p.m. last night. Still in pain, but I am resolute. No one should have been treated like this when they are sick and vulnerable. 23rd of June 2018. So we followed the Fox, which was the name of a band, Follow the Fox. So we followed the Fox at the Elephant, which is the name of a hotel. No. So we tried Prohibition, but the techno house crap was ghastly. So we are now at Greaser, and the band is much, much better. Hallelujah. Although Follow the Fox did improve since that year. They got better. I quite like them. They're nice kids. 23rd of June 2017. Here's a lovely photo of Charlie nibbling on my glasses. Beauregard has had a delicious bath under sufferance, a luxurious brush, and we are now walking in Whiteshill Reserve as I promised him. Charlie is hanging off my clothes, enjoying the walkies too. It is a glorious day. Hallelujah. And here's my lovely boy, all clean and brushed, smiling happily, because he loved his mother and his Charlie and his walkies. Miss him so much. Here's Charlie hanging off it's actually my daughter's True Blood t-shirt. Not quite sure how I came to be wearing her True Blood. She must have lent it to me or given it to me, or I still had it from that time I wore it to the Irish Murphys Club. Listening to my demented Romanian neighbour baaing to his 2 sheep like an old troll is not pleasant. He is happy in his madness, but it's enough the sheep making their own noises without that idiot joining in. I have been out refilling the aquaponic pond as another fish died, so he is only doing it to get my attention. Oh dear God, I wish, like millions of other disability pensioners, that I could win lotto and buy a lovely house in Byron Bay overlooking the sea, similar to how I lived as a child, and get away from that schmendrick, lol. I just carry on as usual, manifesting big dreams and living quietly with my animals, getting older and madder myself, oy vey. But my story is not over yet, and I am the creator of my reality. In my head, I can be anywhere in the world I want to be, and when I leave this body, I can be anywhere in the universes in the blink of an eye, or so they tell me. I had a bad night last night with lots of broken sleep due to needing to pee, and when I finally settled down, Penny went rampaging through the house, so I threw her outside at 4 a.m. Oh my God, cats are driving me mad. But I woke up feeling happy and have thought about the events of this year. January and February were lost due to incessant tooth pain since December last year. I missed out on summer due to prolonged agony. Then March was lost due to news of my horrible father's death. Then April spent waiting for his ashes, a man I never wished to deal with ever again, but did the right thing, as ultimately I always did the right thing by those filthy, violent Schweinhunds that spawned me, as integrity is everything, and they did not deserve me, and I certainly did not deserve them. Then in May I got rid of my engagement ring, a symbol of a long dead, treacherous, false love and people who wanted me dead. Then I de-sexed my dog, so that was another stressful time. Now June is almost over, but so many positive, lovely things are evolving. I started going to dancing in the dark on Wednesday and ecstatic dance on Friday. I opened myself up like a lotus flower to experiencing new possibilities and surrounding myself with beautiful, soulful people. I even went along to Jared's Fish Club to support my friend in his hobby, which I'm a little bit annoyed in a way, because I've asked him a few times to come and dance with me or have a drink with me at the Koala Tavern because he lives down that way. He won't do it. But I supported him in his hobby, but, this is what I mean about people being a bit one-dimensional. It's annoying at times. But I love him and he's a dear friend to me, so I accept his choices. But it would be nice to just support me occasionally, But it is what it is. I'm finding my locus again and manifesting a happier, more harmonious and positive life. It is only June, so I feel like I have hit the ground running, but I'm coming out from the fog of death, despair and abandonment and am seeing a new sunrise of golden light flowing to me and beckoning me forward. Some days are still tortuous, but others are just, well, spectacular. Thanks to those beautiful friends who carried me on their shoulders for decades, who watched me psychedelically twirl and swirl, my way to wholeness and healing, and so much love I could burst. You kept me precious and honoured me even in my darkest depths of horror. You made me feel that life was worth living, and you showed me that I could come out the other side. I am grateful to the Holy One, gods, the angels, the spirits of the earth and the sea, and the air as well, for honouring and protecting me and bringing me to this season of bliss. Amen. V'salah. And a cousin who's actually would be the first cousin of my father, who they never met, wrote back, "Laughter and positivity, you are great." I replied, "I had bladder surgery as well as a repair and hysterectomy end of October 2007. It was actually the 30th of October. I fear that my bladder is failing again. Polyuria is another side effect of obstructive sleep apnea, although I don't understand how it is related. But yeah, also with man on pause, you pee more. It is all rather exhausting, but I am grateful that I can still pee and not yet incontinent, which is a horrible state of affairs." So I wrote that back in 2017, and only now, 7 years later, am I getting treatment for both my bladder and sleep apnea because of the determination of my psychiatrist, who insists that I stay tethered to planet Earth and stay alive. That's how much he loves me. My friend Tarina Edwards wrote, "See you tonight for some ritual cleansing, kiss kiss." So we were going to ecstatic dance together. 23rd of June 2016. I don't know what else to do. I just tried calling the courier mail, hoping to get the story out there about Terry Butler's office hanging up on me and the Commonwealth Bank laughing in my face. Surely with an election due, someone in government could advocate for disability pensioners like me. Or is my phobia of government-sponsored genociders, 2016 people, remember that, not really as unfounded after all? I need to get some action on this. If this happened to me today, how many other disability pensioners were treated like animals today also? I'm sure I can't be that special as to be the only one. By the way, Labour used to always defend the underdog, which is why I was raised to vote Labour and have always voted Labour. Not anymore, you bastards. Now even they treat the poor with disrespect. I guess I will have to start my own party and/or revolution, as this is utterly disgusting and reprehensible. No one has integrity or a sense of responsibility for the poor and marginalised anymore. The homeless are harassed, the disabled mocked, women beaten or raped or murdered, children raped and molested, and even the government can't enforce its own Royal Commission guidelines. Meanwhile, women like me are derided and scourged for the crime of ending up alone, poor and traumatised, so that we can no longer provide for basics on the pension. I'm feeling like I'm living in the bowels of hell. This country has become a giant of systemic abuse, cowardly, evil bullying. a sick, sick society. I wrote that in 2016. Trying Terry Butler's Member of Parliament office to find out how a bank can get away with not having recourse to the financial ombudsman. They cut me off too. Government-sponsored genociders. They hope we just go and kill ourselves to save money. I am done. Ha ha, the financial ombudsman sends you through its phone system twice before insisting you apply online. When you go online, they tell you Commonwealth Bank is not one of their financial services to dispute. No wonder the staff were so smug when I threatened to close my account. They think they are untouchable and pensioners don't matter. They even came out of their little glass cubicles to laugh at me. Evil cunts. I just saw the bank will close bank account but don't have $15 overdue to even close. Rapists. By that I meant financial rapists. They stated even the manager would endorse the fact I was incorrectly given the overdraft 2 years ago. I will contact the Ombudsman. This is how poor pensioners are treated, like criminals. Last night I made a big batch of washing powder, but I ran out of borax. So now to brave the cold and get myself to Carindale to the bank, then on to Capalaba Produce for bulk borax. Oh yeah, why didn't I think of that for my silversmithing? Buy it in bulk through Capalaba Produce like I used to do. Oh, Tanya. Well, anyway, that was a good reminder. I'll do that next time. 11:24 a.m. Awake and up for the day. Let us see what this day brings. So far, rain, but that is good for this dried out, stressed out, thirsty, sun-scorched country, spelt capital letters, Country. Just how I feel about Australia since then, actually. Well, long time before that, since they let me down when I was being strangled by former lovers. 6:58 a.m. Awake after 6 hours sleep. It took me forever to fall asleep. My skin crawled like there were bugs underneath. So itchy. I felt like getting back up and running mad in the cold, wet night. But somehow, after all the reflux, belching and scratching, I passed out. I had to get up to pee, drink water, let Bobo out. It is pouring rain outside and I am still so tired. Guess a good morning to stay in bed and just rest. Sleep more if I can. I need to go to my bank and fight about the overdraft, but if I am not well enough today, it can wait. I'm not going to jump through hoops to beg and scratch for every crumb. Fuck it. And as you can see later in that day, I fought the good fight and only to be belittled and humiliated and treated really, really badly. So more systemic abuse on the part of the banking system here in Queensland, Australia, by the way. 23rd of June, and our politicians who tell me they made plenty of money during the COVID epoch, so they're happy. They're very happy with their actions and all the money they made. That's all that mattered to them. 20, don't you ever forget that, people of Earth. That was a direct quote, by the way, and I never, ever lie. 23rd of June 2015. Those of you who are close to me know that my nickname on Power Talk is Psychedelic Dreamer. I call myself that because of my trauma-induced wild imagination and my second life, which takes place while I sleep. The past few weeks, my dreams have been very intense again. No cause for concern, just how my brain debriefs and reconnects itself. Yesterday, I dreamt of an enormous ancient tree. I climbed it from the ground to very high up. I was with a group of people. The idea was we were supposed to abseil from the top of the tree. I was busy looking for footholds as I had some crazy idea that I could just slide down it. In the canopy, I sat and watched the handsome young man, the leader, and some of the pretty young girls abseil with no fear and no problems at all. I, however, was sort of communing with the tree, as I do. I do that. I noticed from a great hawk-eye vantage point the group leader kissing one of the girls. I sat all matriarchally and bemusedly, quietly chuckling, watching the young be young. Then they yelled I had to come down. I panicked, looking at other massive branches, not sure how I was ever going to get to the ground. And then this peace enveloped me. Take your time. Do it your way. I will help you. It was the spirit of the tree. I was so grateful. The dream ended. Take your time. Do it your way. I will help you. Powerful message and metaphor for life. I wonder if it was Yggdrasil or the tree of life